I never thought it would come to this. 40 years of friendship, gone in a single moment, but not in a loud fight. Not with doors slammed or voices raised. No, it ended quietly. I just stopped answering the phone. I never explained. I never shouted. I simply walked away. Stay with me, because in just a second, I'll share the moment I knew I had to cut them off, and why doing it without reacting was the most powerful decision of my life. If you've ever been hurt by someone you loved, betrayed by someone you trusted, or drained by someone who was supposed to support you, this story is for you. Because there comes a time in life, especially after 60, when peace is more important than explanations, and silence becomes your greatest weapon. Her name was Janet. We met when we were both 23. She was fiery, bold, magnetic, the kind of person who lit up a room. At first, being around her made me feel alive. She pushed me out of my comfort zone, made me laugh, made me feel important. But over the years, something started to shift. It wasn't dramatic. In fact, that's what made it harder to see. It started with little jabs. You always overthink everything. Why are you so sensitive? I'm just being honest. Don't be so emotional. Every time I walked away from our conversations, I felt smaller. And yet, I stayed. Because she'd always follow it up with something warm. I'm the only one who tells you the truth. You know I love you, right? Gaslighting doesn't always come from enemies. Sometimes it comes wrapped in friendship, in family, and I'm just looking out for you. The final straw wasn't a betrayal. It wasn't a huge fight. It was a dinner. Just a regular Friday night dinner. Janet had invited a few friends. We were seated around a table, wine flowing, laughter in the air. And then she said something about me. Something deeply personal. A private struggle I had shared with her years ago. She turned it into a joke. Everyone laughed. I smiled politely, but inside, something snapped. It wasn't the words. It was the way she looked at me. Like she knew she had hurt me and didn't care. That's when I realized this woman didn't love me. She loved the version of me that served her. She loved having someone to feel superior to. She loved the power, not the person. And just like that, I was done. Most people think walking away means weakness. That if you don't stand up for yourself, you're letting them win. But I want to tell you something I wish I'd known earlier. You don't owe anyone a dramatic exit. Silence is not cowardice. It's clarity. Because here's what happens when you react. They twist your words. They guilt trip you. They make you look like the problem. But when you go silent, there's nothing to defend, nothing to explain, no energy wasted. You reclaim your peace on your terms. When I stopped calling Janet, she didn't notice right away. Then the text started. Hey stranger, where have you been? You okay? I didn't respond. Then came the guilt. Wow, I guess I meant nothing to you. You're really just going to disappear like that? And finally, the rage. You're so immature. I always knew you were fake. Let me say this clearly. People who truly care will ask, did I hurt you? People who are selfish will say, how dare you leave me? Their reaction to your silence reveals everything. Psychologists say that being ignored triggers the same part of the brain as physical pain. Why? Because silence removes the control. When you fight back, they can argue. When you cry, they can manipulate. But when you're silent, truly silent, they are left with themselves. And most people can't stand to face who they really are. That's why they come back angrier, more desperate, more aggressive. It's not because they miss you. It's because they miss the version of you that tolerated them. And when you cut them off silently, it's the first time they've felt powerless. If any part of this story feels familiar, if you have ever had someone in your life who made you question your worth or walk on eggshells, I want you to comment below with a simple phrase. I choose peace. That's it. no explanation needed. And if you know someone else who's struggling with a toxic relationship, share this video. Because sometimes, hearing someone else's story gives us the strength to finally walk away. It's been 3 years since I last spoke to Janet. I thought I'd feel lonely. No more decoding texts. No more wondering if I did something wrong. No more anxiety before every interaction. Just peace. I filled the space she left behind with people who uplift me. People who listen. People who care without needing to be the center of attention. Sometimes, you don't realize how heavy someone was until you set them down. So many of us, especially those of us over 60, were raised to be the bigger person, to forgive, to keep the peace, to avoid burning bridges. But here's the truth. Some bridges need to burn because they lead nowhere. We stay because of history, because of guilt, because of obligation. But your history with someone does not excuse their behavior in the present. You're allowed to leave a relationship that no longer honors who you've become. And the sooner you do it, the longer you get to live in peace. You don't need a grand exit. Here's how you can walk away with dignity. Don't announce it. If they cared, they would have noticed the hurt before now. Stop engaging. Let their texts go unanswered. Let the phone ring. Don't explain. Explanation invites argument. Silence ends the conversation. Focus on yourself. Fill your life with joy, hobbies, new connections. Block if needed. Peace is more important than their closure. As we age, we begin to value different things. Not popularity, not drama, not attention. We want peace, stability, kindness, gentleness. And sometimes, that means being strong enough to walk away without a fight. The truth is, it's not your job to fix people. It's not your job to explain your worth. It's not your job to stay small so someone else feels big. Your job is to protect your peace. Even if that means being the bad guy in someone else's story. Janet probably still tells people I ghosted her, that I was petty, that I overreacted. And maybe I did, but I'd rather be misunderstood than mistreated. I don't need her version of me to be true. I just need my peace. So to anyone watching who's holding on to a relationship that drains you, to anyone afraid to walk away because you don't want to cause a scene, let me say this. You don't need to react. You don't need to explain. You don't need permission. Just go. Quietly, calmly, completely. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. If this story touched something deep in you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Comment with, I walked away, and I found peace. And don't forget to subscribe for more real stories, honest reflections, and emotional truth about life after 60. You've given enough. Now it's time to give back to yourself.